Let's see what we can do.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to healthierlife.tv. My name's Paul Bursey. My co-presenter is...
Good morning, everybody. Trust everyone is having an amazing week. Warren Connolly coming to you here from a beautiful Hungary.
Now, we'll try and be as quick as we can at the request from Warren this morning because he's busy. So, should we get tested for vitamin D? What's your opening?
Most certainly should.
Okay, that's the end of the Facebook Live then.
There we go. You don't need to know more than that. Just trust what we say and do it.
Now,
and if you want to know how or where you can get tested, let us know.
Yeah. That's it. Okay. Good day, everyone. Anyway, experts say the vitamin D is essential for health. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, in many ways, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And
so
again, it's one of those things that it's just not common knowledge, is it? But it's so essential for us.
No, it is. It is. There are two schools of thought when it comes to testing, because that's what this is about. Some say it's not required, right across the board. Mm-hmm. I probably disagree with that. Mm-hmm. Having seen, because we do two different tests. One is for omega-3 and omega-6 balance. Okay, so I went a bit blank there for a minute. And and there are tremendous indications as to how healthy you are or not, as the case may be.
Yeah.
And the same for vitamin D as well. So some say there's insufficient evidence to recommend for or against screening most people for vitamin D deficiency. Well, people are entitled to their opinion. What we see is that most people need help.
Yeah.
Really, it's a very, very high percentage of people in the 90s. So, sometimes it's not their fault either. So,
no, because at the end of the day, it just boils down to education and understanding and knowledge, and we're not shown or told by anybody that we should be getting regular sunshine. And if we're not getting regular sunshine, then we should be eating foods that are helping us to supplement the vitamin D, the lack of vitamin D. And most people don't even realize that sunshine is vitamin D.
Mm-hmm. Well, it helps produce it. Yeah,
helps produce vitamin D. Yeah.
The process of the sun's rays and everything else.
Your body producing. So, yeah.
Now, what I said was when there are some people say there's insufficient evidence. They're not talking about obviously people who are pregnant, anyone with signs and symptoms of a vitamin D deficiency, and also people with conditions that require vitamin D treatment. So obviously, all those would be prime candidates really to test for vitamin D. So. So does it mean you shouldn't bother to get tested at all? I know what we would say, but what would you say, Warren? Bear in mind that it's like everything with the medical profession and so-called scientists. We've gone through 2 years of that, so we know all about that. Yeah. And some people have just put a downer on everything. But I think it's important that people get tested for peace of mind, if nothing else.
I believe it's important because even someone who is a health nut or an athlete, a sports professional, or a fitness and health and wellness professional, or even people that are in tune with their body, they listen to their body, they understand the signals from their body. You don't know until you get tested.
Absolutely.
You really don't know. And it's a very gray area. I've had people tell me, I don't need to be tested because I know how my body feels and I know how I'm feeling, if I'm feeling good. But with things like vitamin D and stuff like that, you don't necessarily not specifically feel understand the feeling of your body, whether you're deficient of vitamin D or not, because it's encompassed. The symptoms come from an encompassing range of, relating to your mood, your energy, your your bone density, and you're not necessarily going to feel whether that's deficient or not.
No, that's right.
So,
You might get some indications if you've got body aches,
like
whether
cramps,
you're fatigued,
Yeah.
tired, and things like that. Then, I get that, or it may be something to do with your mood as well.
Yeah, but that could also be a range of factors, right?
Absolutely, but it's like crossing ticks off the list, isn't it? Going through and checking things to see why is this happening, and that's one of the biggest things as well, And look, all I would say to you is this, okay? When do you know you've got a heart problem? When do you know you've got cancer? And the only time is when there is a sign that doesn't feel right, and you go to the doctor, or something happens to you, and then we get tested.
Yeah.
Right? We get tested, and then we find out the truth. Well, I'm into prevention.
Yeah, I don't want to be reactive. I want to be.
It's a bit like when the mind is affected by different things. Why wait till you start forgetting things? Get in there quick. If someone said to me, if I eat a banana a day, then I'm not going to get anything go wrong with my mind. And I'm being silly here, but then I would eat a banana a day. Simple as, and that to me is prevention. There's millions of things you can do, but
sure,
that's one of them. And I think these tests are so simple, But
I think also one of the reasons why people don't get tested, for whatever that may be, is twofold. One, they don't want the hassle of having to phone a doctor up, make an appointment, go drive to the doctor's office, sit there, take time off from work, or whatever the case may be, and then wait to have a blood test done, and then wait for the results to come back, and all of this kind of stuff. All right.
Yeah.
And then not knowing what the results will be, but also I think that is the second part of why it's twofold, is that people they are scared of finding what the results are, often because they're not really informed as to what the results could look like and what it might mean for them in the long run. That people have a doomsday scenario in their head, running through their head. I'm going to get results back and they're going to tell me that I have 5 months to live, or something like that. It's not like that at all. It doesn't need to be like that at all. If you're getting a vitamin D test done, or even an omega-3, omega-6 balance test done, it's not something that's going to give you an insight into the end of the world for you. It's just going to help you to prevent what may come in the future.
Yeah.
And you may have some symptoms of other conditions and diseases, but by knowing that you're vitamin D deficient and being able to then know from a knowledge perspective, okay, now I need to eat more oily fish. I need to eat this. I need to eat that. I need to do this. I need to get more sunshine. I need to, then you can make those interventions and correct the situation for yourself. And I think this is why most people don't get the tests done in the first place. But you don't have to make a phone call to go to the doctor's office either. That's the key. And this is the nice thing about what we do.
Well, we'll cover that at the end, about our test. But look, severe vitamin deficiency can cause what? What can it cause?
Well, we touched on the moods. So it's, it can definitely affect your mood and your quality of your temperament, and your quality of your energy.
Yeah.
It can also affect and impact your bone density. Okay.
And that's the one I wanted to sort of mention. Mm-hmm. Osteoporosis and brittle bones and fractures. Fractures. Yeah. If you don't take care of the vitamin D thing, you can get fractures easier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And especially as we get older.
Yes, absolutely. You often hear about older people.
Yeah.
I'm older people, but
I'm older people.
I haven't fallen over yet, but it does happen. And people fracture their hip and different things like that. And it just takes so long to get well again. And some
Yeah.
people don't get well again.
Yeah, they never do.
That's
Do
the other
they?
thing. They start going downhill. So
Oh.
what we want to do is avoid that. You know, in children, we know from past things that they used to get rickets if they didn't have enough vitamin D. Now we don't see too much rickets in our neck of the woods now.
Or this day and age. Yeah.
But it is softening and of the bones. And they just get weaker. So we still got to keep a watching brief on our kids to make sure that they have sufficient vitamins and everything. You know,
And I honestly believe, and this is through studies as well, studies that have been done, that if you're a pregnant mother or mother to be, you should know what your vitamin D levels are.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You most definitely want to know what your vitamin D levels are, because that's going to impact the growth and the development of your fetus in some ways, in some aspects. So yeah,
absolutely. So who's most at risk for a deficiency of vitamin D?
Us folks in the northern hemisphere.
Absolutely, yeah. But, you know, and that's why you have to pay attention. Now, we all want to spend a bit more time outside if we can, but sometimes mood, you know, and other things like that, think, I can't be bothered. I'm not going to go out. I'm not going to go out and exercise. You know, I'm not going to go out in the weather. It's too cold out there. It's raining. It's freezing cold. And you could be right for some of that. Okay, but there are parts of the day when you can actually go out and get your vitamin D. All right.
Yeah.
But you should mix and match. It's not just about going outside, but going outside is one of the most important, without a shadow of a doubt.
And if you're outside for a half an hour walk at midday, that's in the northern hemisphere, that's not going to kill you.
If you can do it twice a day, it's even better.
Yeah.
Okay, but think about those people that work inside, all right, as well, because if they're doing 12-hour shifts and things like that, sometimes it's going to be dark when they go and dark when they come back. You know, so they would definitely have I would probably think of deficiency of some sort.
Oh yes. I mean, I just remember like when I used to work, in Knightsbridge in London, and I'd go to work and it would be dark, and I'd come home and it would be dark.
Yeah, no.
And that was 6 days a week, you know, and it was
fun, isn't it?
Yeah, and I know how my mood was then. You know? I just know how my mood was. I remember
grumpy, probably.
And then I worked in Latimer in Buckinghamshire. I worked as a security guard. Okay, and the same thing. I did night shifts, but I'd be sleeping in the daytime. So I'd leave work at 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe go to the shops to get some stuff, go home, sleep. So I'd be sleeping in the daytime and then working in the nighttime. So again, I wasn't getting that sunlight at all. You know, maybe for half an hour to and from the shops, but that was it. And I remember what my mood was like, how my energy was, and all these kinds of things. And it was very demotivating. And I know, thinking back now that I understand, I was definitely deficient of vitamin D then. Most certainly was.
Well, I can honestly say, as a child, going right up to when, you know, sort of you leave school and that, I wasn't deficient of vitamin D. You know, and I know that looking back at what I used to do, and I spend a lot of time outside.
Yeah.
Loads of time outside, even when it was cold, wet, snowy, whatever. You know, when you get older, you don't want to, but yeah.
Coming from Africa, I grew up on the beach. You know, coming from South Africa, I grew up on the beach, you know, and all my life I was outside. It was outdoors. I was either in the beach or on the bush.
Yeah.
So, you know, then moving to England, I definitely knew the difference. I could feel the difference. You understand?
Yeah, I bet you could.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, that's you know, even in that good climate, it's about balance. You know, but think about this though, right? Now, this is a huge problem as far as I can see, and that is kids in the UK, probably the same in the USA. You know, I can only talk about the UK, and that is kids on their mobile phones and computers all day long, sitting inside. You know, it's a huge problem.
Yeah,
huge. Now, if they don't have the right foods, then they're going to be below the right levels.
And then their growth development is not going to be where it should be, because that's important. You know, vitamin D levels for growth.
Absolutely, yeah.
a healthy immune system as we get older. All of these kinds of things to help our immune system stay strong.
Yeah.
You know, it's all going to impact the growth of a child and development of a child.
Yeah. So let's assume you go out in the midday, you're wearing loads of sunblock on all your exposed skin. You may well still have a deficiency. And that's another reason why you should think about being tested, you know. And
well, this is the irony of the Middle East.
Yeah.
The Middle East is one of the most they have some of the highest rates of vitamin D deficiency in the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of that is conjecture because not many people get tested again for vitamin D. Mm-hmm. But if you think about the lifestyle in the Middle East, it's everyone's covered up, predominantly. And if you're not covered up and you're living in the Middle East, you're not in the sunshine very often because when it's hot, because it's too hot. So people stay indoors in AC and things like that. And it's only really in winter when people get outside more. Okay. But even then, many of the population living in the Middle East are covered up because they are Muslim, and especially for the ladies, they tend to cover up more. So yeah, it's a catch-22 situation no matter where you are. Unless you live in South Africa or Australia or Argentina or somewhere like that, maybe.
Yeah, you've got to take a look at it in different terms wherever you are. I mean, it doesn't mean to say you should avoid using sunblock, obviously, because it depends where you are. But it does mean that instead of talking to your mates down the pub, speak to a professional. You know, speak to us. Speak to a nutritional practitioner about the right diet, the right lifestyle, the right supplements, and how you're going to get to your right levels of vitamin D. You know, so who else is at risk? Can you think of anyone else? These, I mean, is a bit more technical, these ones, but I only know because I
Are you referring to age brackets, or are you referring to population groups, like as in?
No, I'm probably more referring to people who've had some operations or things like that.
Oh, okay.
So things like gastric bypass.
Oh, okay.
Very, very liable to have a vitamin D deficiency. You know, so it really has to be monitored well. People with small intestine bacterial overgrowth, another big one, because it would just eat you, vitamin D. Anyone with intestinal absorption problems, you know, like inflammatory bowel disease, another one. And people with problems with their pancreas, as well. So it could be diabetics.
Okay.
Yeah, too much insulin, not enough, you know, and all that.
Yeah.
So
I know there's been tests done with regards to vitamin D and diabetes as well.
Yeah,
the correlation.
Another type of person you've got to watch out for: vegans. You know, especially restricted vegans. In other words, you know, that really go 100% all in.
Yeah.
And again, they've got a higher risk of vitamin D deficiency. So again, we work with vegans. So again, it's very, very important. Now, if someone who goes out for a little while each day, you know, maybe you have you eat oatmeal, maybe fortified cereals, dairy, eggs, salmon, things like that, then you shouldn't have too much of a problem, to be fair. However, we don't know how the body is utilizing the vitamin D either and how it's storing it. So again, you know, even if you only get tested once and it hunky-dory, you know that you're doing the right things, it could be just a one-off thing. Other people probably need to test every about 3 or 4 months, you know?
Yeah.
Depends who you are.
Because you could be deficient in other areas of absorption in your body, which is not allowing the vitamin D to be utilized properly in your system.
No.
So it's important to understand that.
So vegan is a big part of our market. We work with vegans to ensure that they get the right vitamin D levels. And one of the potential harms of vitamin D is toxicity. I wanted to get that in before I forgot. And it's rare. It's because it's a fat-soluble vitamin, okay, such as A, D, E, and K. So you could overdose on all of them. As I say, it is rare. So I think that the main problem is not having enough.
Yeah, should be more of a concern than overdose.
Yeah. I'm not going to go into what you should be, how much you should be testing and what levels are, because it's pointless at this stage. But it's something you discuss with people, you know.
Yeah, that's a private conversation.
Yeah, definitely. As I say, toxicity. So you haven't got to be. You could be dyslexic and still do a Facebook Live. So enriched foods and sun are essential for vitamin D levels. So pay attention to what you're doing. That's the other thing as well. If you don't want to get tested, do a little bit of research and find out what you need to do. Okay?
Well, if you're wary of being tested, I wouldn't say, if you don't want to be tested, then I think you definitely need to educate yourself a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of, I mean, some people I know, they don't like to be tested for whatever reasons, but if you understand the importance of it, you will want to get yourself tested. It's not something you want to skip. It's just that it's never been highlighted enough in the past.
No, that's right.
People think it's blasé. They're blasé about it.
Nobody wants to spend all their time being tested, you know. But there are a few tests you can take to check on how healthy you are, or have an indication of how healthy you are. So I was just reading the comment here. Diane Bryant, really interesting talk. I've been looking into vitamin D deficiency as both my parents have osteoarthritis. So yeah, absolutely spot on, Diane. And that's what you need to do. And unfortunately, a lot of people can't be bothered. And that's why, whatever it is, you know, whether it's alcohol, anything, I mean, that's why they have problems later on, because they're not prepared to do the work or speak to someone even. So some fish contains vitamin D, all right? Such as salmon. Can you think of other ones?
Your pilchards.
Yeah, sardines.
Vitamin D, sardines.
Yeah. Even canned tuna. Herring is another one.
Yeah, herring, mackerel.
Eggs from poultry as well. Now it helps, obviously, if they're grass-fed chickens that are laying the eggs, because they're more healthy. You can tell by the colour of the yolk.
The richness of the orange.
You go to the supermarket and get a tray of eggs, and then you break them open, and it's like it's some kind of yellow, but it's not bright yellow. So look for bright yellow ones. That will give you a clue. But look on the side of the packet as well. You know, out in the country,
you've got the labeling. So just check in the UK what the labeling of eggs is, and eggs are important because they are a very healthy source of food for various reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just find out in the UK or wherever you are what the coding on the egg should look like if it's a healthier option.
Mm-hmm.
So like here we have, if it's a 2 or a 1, I believe, then it's a healthier option for an egg.
That'll be a European marking on your ones.
Yeah.
We don't know yet because we've only just can't do everything. Sorry.
No, you will have guidelines in the UK.
But look, make sure the chicken or the eggs you get in from the chickens, the chickens are being raised outside. Make sure they're not in one of these huts or batteries, as they call them.
Yeah, the batteries, right?
Yeah. Now, for most part, we depend on foods that are enriched with vitamin D for our own daily intake. So, where would we get some enriched vitamin D?
Well, we've touched on fish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but enriched means they've added it.
Oh, they've added it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. I mean, milk obviously was the number one thing, because when we was at school, they made sure we drank milk every day.
I thought that's what it tells you.
Or alternative milks. You know, you like alternative milks.
Yeah, I prefer the alternative ones. Yeah.
What would you suggest for that?
Oat milk
and
rice milk is really good. I would stay away from soy. because that's a byproduct of soy itself. So I tend to stay away from anything that's a product of soy. That's a different conversation altogether. But otherwise, oat milk, rice milk, coconut milk. Yeah, I'm not too sure about vitamin D and coconut milk, but coconut milk in itself is okay. Yeah, as an option, it's a good source of alternative milk than dairy milk. But I don't drink dairy milk for a number of reasons.
Yeah,
health related. Yeah,
I do. I have to put my hands up. I've drunk
That's
it all
fine.
night.
I love.
I'm trying to veer over to your way of thinking, though.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
Also, and nut milks as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done my research. It said a lot about orange juice. Now, this is where you've got to be a little bit careful, because you know as well as I do that some orange juices are just not orange juices. There's just a pile of sugar. But freshly squeezed orange juice, fantastic. But don't go too berserk on it. But I mean, it's great. It's another wonderful thing. I mean, that's not enriched, and they probably will enrich the one that's got loads of sugar in it.
Yes.
So you've got to be a little bit careful. You've got to do your research a little bit.
And again, that's just a catch-22, isn't it? Yeah,
loads
of sugar and
yeah. It's... little bit's all right. But don't go mad. So why should you get tested? And I was going through words and things like, because life, when it comes to nutrition, is uncertain. And that's one of the biggest things I thought of. Also, you know, most of us are very haphazard by the way we conduct our lives when it comes to nutrition and things like that. So.
And there's a lot of uncertainty in the world today, isn't there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if you have the power and the control to create some kind of certainty in your life, why not go with the nutritional side of it? Because at the end of the day, you know, the more nutritious your body is, and the more nutritious your food sources are, and you're understanding what it is that your body needs, that just creates more certainty in your head, and it creates less stress, less anxiety, less depression. And it's just ticking one of those boxes off in terms of your life.
Absolutely. I mean, look, most people are hit and miss by the way they eat and drink. Sure. They're random. It's just, you know, they just eat at that particular moment and don't sort of have any sort of plan in their mind about what they want to do. And I would go so far as to say that a big percentage of the population, their eating and drinking is chaotic. Chaotic. You don't know what you're doing. And look, if that's the way you want to run your life, then hey, that's up to you. You know. Now, in the past, we've all relied on the sun. Some more than others, as we know. And again, we talk about geographical. But what you have to think about is maybe a little change in your lifestyle. Okay. And some of that lifestyle is going to be about getting outside. Now, I know we've mentioned it already, but I just want to emphasize how important it is to get out there for between 5 and 30 minutes a day, you know, and twice a day if you can do it. We know that things are busy or lazy. We know that. We've all suffered from that. And it's just something to think about. If you're unable to get your requirement through food alone, then talk to us about supplementation, okay? Because we have supplementation that goes along with the test, and it's not expensive. Trust me on that.
It's really not. It's really not. It's a lot more.
It's actually quite refreshing and exciting, actually.
And it's a lot more expensive to be dealing with the consequences.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and some of the consequences could be permanent.
Yeah.
That's the biggest challenge you've got. I say it's our practice to have a preventative focus. People feel a significant improvement in their health when they get their levels, the vitamin level, optimized as to how it should be. So now, what draws people in to us is people with body aches, fatigue, mood swings, and things like that. So again, it may be just about tweaking your diet and tweaking your lifestyle. Okay.
And then I just want to touch on the test itself. Is that with what we do, we do dry blood testing, but it's been proven to be as effective as an intravenous, like a drawing blood from you and then doing the testing that way. The other thing is that it's done from your home. It's done from the comfort of your home. You don't have to leave to go anywhere to have the test done. And it's completely anonymous, which is what a lot of people are concerned about these days, is their blood being drawn and taken and for whatever reasons. So it's completely anonymous. It's done from the comfort of your home. It's done through dry blood testing. So it doesn't mean you have to take a whole vial of blood, a few drops from your finger. And so even those that are squirmish about blood and seeing blood, it's really, there should be no,
well, if you don't like the look of blood, don't look. Get someone else to do it.
It's graded at the highest grade in terms of efficacy and accuracy, in terms of how accurate your blood test readings are. Okay, it's the highest grade that you can that you're able to get. Whereas many blood tests that you can get from your pharmacy or elsewhere, they don't have that same level of efficacy or the same level of accuracy that you would want to have, because the range is quite variant. And then you need to be quite specific with the range that you're getting in order to understand what to do with your eating and your lifestyle habits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's something to bear in mind as well.
Oh, the other thing is VITAS. It's a very independent laboratory that we use, and I think it's based in Norway, isn't it?
In Oslo, yeah.
Oslo, and obviously other people using it: Cambridge, Oxford, Harvard, people like that. So King's College, they all use VITAS. So we're in good company. So
very good company, yeah. 25 years of experience. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So. Okay, with that, I think we're done here. If you need to speak to us, just give us a shout on here on Facebook on this live, and then we'll go from there. We'll just base on what we say on what you want. You're the customer at the end of the day, so what you want goes. Okay, so as I say, look, we've been going 32 minutes. Said it's going to be quick. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So, anyway, have a fantastic rest of the week, everyone. And if you need anything, give us a shout. And I say this is going out Facebook Live. It's going out on podcasts and YouTube and everything else. So enjoy.
And if we don't hear from you, make sure you get some sunshine.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, show the love, comment, love the. Share, whatever. So usual stuff. That's how we grow. So as I say, have a great week and speak to you soon.
Fantastic.
See you later.